It's been quite a week for the footballing world, but for Jurgen Klopp and the players, their focus has stayed the same. They want a top four finish and the all-important Champions League place that it brings. The task in hand this afternoon sees Liverpool take on Newcastle United at Anfield. We'll have live audio commentary from 12:30, plus we've got an hour's build-up on Matchday Live on LFC TV. Hey, welcome to our Matchday Live preview with our friends at Standard Chartered. What a day it is. The sun is shining, Liverpool looks glorious, the Reds are in action at lunchtime, and football is very much the focus. Plus, I get to start the day with Jason McAteer and Gary Gillespie.
Working with the A-team today, aren't you?
It is very much the A-team.
Not happening in Scotland.
Well, I'll let you decide which one of you is Hannibal, which one.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, very much the Murdoch of this A-team. I'll start with the Hannibal. Yeah, it's good. It's been a very turbulent week. A lot has been said. There's been a lot of emotion. Do you think in some ways it could be galvanising for the group? It could bring the group closer together. You know, we've seen the players unite, have a common purpose, speak with real clarity of thought. We've seen supporters perhaps be disenfranchised, but then be brought back in. They're now rallied behind the players and the manager, if not perhaps fully happy with the club. Could this galvanise everyone for these final games?
I think you could see and understand the upset that the fans had. The players, I think, spoke out pretty well. I think the owner did the right thing by making the apology. And that was obviously done to galvanise the team. And let's face it, we are stronger together, whether that be the owners, the manager, the playing staff, and certainly the supporters as well. So together we are stronger. Is it 6 games left or 7 games left? I think we've got around about that. It's pulling that togetherness for a force that's good, and obviously a force that's going to get us 3 points in most of the games, because that's the way that we're going to get back into the top 4 and into the Champions League. You know, I think we need to put all this stuff behind us. You know, I think there's been enough said. I think the apology was the right thing to do. I think what we've got to remember as well, all the good that the owners have done as well. FSG, it's not all been about, you know, self-interest, and I don't think it has been about self-interest, to be quite honest with you. You look at the training facility that they built, the new stadium or the new stand that they built, the Anfield Road end. So there's a lot of positives to be taken, and let's put all the negatives behind us, because negatives don't do anybody any good.
No, they certainly don't. We've seen yet again how united this group of players are, and that's been the real strength of this group over the last 3 seasons, and that could be something that really gives them motivation, gives them an extra sense of purpose in these remaining fixtures.
I don't think so. I think what Jurgen's tried to build over his time at the football club is a unity between sort of, well, certainly with the players, but obviously with the fans as well. I mean, we go right back to was it the West Brom game where he went to the Kop, didn't he, with the players?
2-2, I think it was.
It was the 2-2 game, and everyone wanted, you know, that was the start of trying to bring the closeness of the fans back together, which had kind of drifted from, you know, previous managers and regimes of the football club. And, you know, he's certainly done a fantastic job of that. You know, it's certainly highlighted through this pandemic how we need football fans, how the game is built on the fans, and how much of a unity we have. Sadly, with what's gone on, you know, for us, we are a unique football club, more unique than anyone else, you know, with the closeness that we have with the fans and the unity that we have together as ex-players, as players, as staff, and as football fans. And the whole football club, you know, has gone from strength to strength over the last 5 years. And I can care what Gary says, you know, it's not all, you know, been bad from the owners. They've done some unbelievable things at this football club. And it is a very difficult time. If you're looking for unity, I don't think you could get a stronger bunch. It's been a very difficult year through this pandemic, and, you know, all the adversity that we've had through injuries and so on and so on. And we've come through it at times, different times through this season. You know, sometimes results haven't gone well. But what we've got to understand as football fans is this has got nothing to do with the players, got nothing to do with the managers or the staff of the football club. This was a decision made by the owners. And it would be wrong to punish to punish the players and the manager in any way. You know, we've got to get behind them, protesting. You know, I know people want to be heard, and I know, you know, fans collectively, you know, make a difference, but they've got to do it in the right way, in the right manner, and that's not punishing the football team, not punishing the players. And you've got to get behind them. At the end of the day, we're supporters, football supporters. Let's support the players and support the manager.
Yeah, fans back behind the team. The flags are back on the cot, which is great to see. The focus today is getting 3 points, which would take us back into the top 4, which is where we hope to finish come the end of the season. But it is so tight now for that basically one spot, it looks like, Gary.
Yeah, I think we're all talking about the 4th position, aren't we? I think there's an outside possibility that you might even be looking at that 3rd slot. A lot of teams have got to play each other. I think Chelsea play West Ham. Is it tomorrow? I think
today.
It is. Today, is it later today? So we've got a good opportunity, but first and foremost, I think you have to concentrate on the job at hand. The job at hand is obviously Newcastle United at 12:30. Get the 3 points there, and then see what happens. But first and foremost, you have to look after your own problems in your own game.
Yeah, but the key thing this weekend is it's a perfect example of the thing that's in our favour, is the teams above us are playing each other a lot of times. That doesn't happen. We play Man United next time after this, but apart from that, all the rest of the teams we play are not involved in this equation for top 4 football, and that's the one thing perhaps we have over the other sides.
You must take advantage of that, mustn't you? That's the big thing. We've said it, me and Gary have said it time and time again over previous weekends where we have slipped up. And you look at Leeds last week, OK, everything that was thrown into the mix, you can understand the tiredness, the fatigue that the players showed in the second half, and you know what was going through their minds. And you know, it was one of them mad weekends, wasn't it? But at the end of the day, we did slip up in the sense of we dropped points where Everton, West Ham, Spurs, they all dropped points above us, didn't they? Leicester were on a pretty poor run as well, lost 2 games, got back into it again. Was it last night that they get a result? So we need to capitalise on, you know, that opportunity when teams drop points, that we take maximum points and we close that gap. We've got an opportunity now. It may only be, you know, for a few hours, as you say, because you know, the Chelsea play later on tonight, but we can go 4th, you know, and that can worry teams. All of a sudden, you look at the table, if we win, you know, 12:30 kickoff, and we get into that 4th place, all of a sudden it adds a bit more pressure, you know, to their fixture later on tonight. So you've got to take advantage of it when it comes along.
OK, we'll have team news from Anfield from around 11:30 on LFC TV's Matchday live show. Peter McDowell will bring us that. He's there now for us.
Thanks, Mark. Morning, guys. What a week it's been. Emotionally draining, exhausting for everybody connected with Liverpool Football Club. So great to be back here at Anfield talking about another must-win game. And it must have been so draining for the players during that game at Ellen Road, a game in which they started in so brightly but faded towards the end. But they come here today knowing that their job is a big one ahead of West Ham, Chelsea at 5:30. It would be great knowing we have 3 points in the bag and relaxing to some extent when that game goes or gets underway. But they know any win, just the win will do, and 3 points to take into that one a little bit later on. And you would assume as well, Jurgen Klopp will be looking and will have looked during the week at freshening up this team a little bit where it's allowed as well. No Nat Phillips today, who's back in some kind of training but won't be ready. So Fabinho still missing from that midfield, which is a loss. But does he freshen up that midfield? Is Naby Keita in his thoughts? Is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in his thoughts? He's always been very much on the front foot where players being prepared to play and players coming in and getting opportunities is concerned. So you'd be surprised to maybe see James Milner continue in that midfield, particularly with Manchester United on the horizon as well. And Newcastle, from their extent, they come into this one as an informed team, don't they? 2 wins on the bounce. Has to be put in context, though, they've not won here in almost 27 years to the day in a Premier League game. So they have given themselves a fighting chance, but Liverpool very much going in as the favourite. So let's hear from both managers then, from Steve Bruce in just a second, but Jurgen Klopp on what he's expecting from their plucky opposition here at Anfield this afternoon.
Yeah, they had already a good spell in the beginning, I think, of the season, and they probably dropped a little bit. They had injuries, COVID, everything came together, I would say, or a lot of things came together. And so now they have, I think, a settled lineup, even when they miss, obviously, key players still with Lascelles and others. So, but they, or Share, but they have now 5 in the back, and Steve likes to keep the structure when it's successful. So 5 in the back, that works well. Then with Shelby, Longstaff, Almiron, probably not sure. Obviously, there could be some others as well. But in midfield, and then Mr. Maxim is a proper one, and he was injured. That was a massive blow for Newcastle, I'm sure. And Joelton, they play now really well together, to be honest. And Wilson is then not even on the pitch, and if he starts, that's not a big drop, I would say, performance-wise. So no, they found their lineup, they found form, they found the way to play, and so for them it's good. For us, it's the job to do.
It's been quite incredible, but. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's been an incredible season in terms of strange for everybody. You know, no pre-season, injuries, no supporters. You know, you go to Anfield with that cop behind them at times where you feel as if they're sucking it in the net, you know. So all of them things maybe are the key to it. To go 2 years unbeaten, I think, in Anfield, weren't they? And then all of a sudden, but that's the beauty of football. That's where it is. And that's the spectacle that we have. And who would have thought that, you know, Burnley would go there and win? Who would have thought when you see some of the results they've had at home? But make no mistake, they're still a very, very good side. That's for sure.
Yeah, as Pete was alluding to, back-to-back wins for Newcastle. They now sit 8 points clear of the relegation positions, Jason.
Yeah.
They probably need one more win now after victory against West Ham in that dramatic game last weekend. They've got 6 games in which to do it, so some of the pressure has eased perhaps on Newcastle.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're fighting a relegation battle, you go into the last 12 games of the season, and you know, I think the last 7 games they've only lost 1, haven't they? Drawn 4, and as you've said, won the last 2. That's perfect form, isn't it? It's going to drag you away from certainly Fulham, which you're right, 8 points is the difference. Maybe one more win needed. Listen, the next 4 games, you know, are tough on paper, but you know, Steve, the way he plays, I'm sure he can grind out maybe a draw there. And like you said, you know, I think Sheffield United's one of the last games that they've got to play. I think they've done enough. It's a tough job. You know, when he took over, he maybe wasn't the fans' ideal appointment, but he's come through it. And you know, like I said, they've got some good players, and they probably will be safe. Yeah, so it'll be a tough game for Liverpool. They're on a good bit of form, as you've said, won the last 2, Burnley, West Ham last week. There's no reason why you know, they can't put a good performance in today against Liverpool.
Much of what is good about Newcastle comes from Alan St-Maximin if he's fit to start. He's just an electric player who can cause any defence problems. He's got that turn of pace, those quick feet, really difficult for a defender to deal with.
Yeah, individual player with flair, talent, ability, pace, power. You've got to galvanise all that together, and that happened on the day. And probably players like that sometimes don't turn up for every game, but when they do turn up, they're certainly a handful. I think he's one of these players that can make a difference. He's got that ability to do that. Almiron, I think, is a good foil for him as well, because he works exceptionally hard. And he's been sadly missed from Newcastle's point of view, a long time out with injury, as the manager said there. But now he's back, and he will certainly be a threat. The problem that they've got is always finding a goal scorer. You know, Callum Wilson, I think, has 10 goals. I think he scored in the Premier League this season, which has been a good return for his first season. But to go along with that, Joe Linton's been a massive disappointment. Andy Carroll has certainly not been the answer. So goals have always been a problem. So hence the reason that Steve Bruce makes his teams difficult to beat and tries not to lose games. But I think Liverpool have, I think, too much for them today. But your man, he's certainly one to watch.
The goalless draw up at St James's, though, in which Liverpool were wasteful in front of, had a lot of chances, didn't take them, was kind of a fixture that sort of derailed the season. It followed the West Brom game, and from that point, things kind of started to unravel in that difficult spell. An early goal today would take so much of that pressure on and force Newcastle to come out a bit more, perhaps.
You talk about an early goal. I was sort of looking up on the game, and they were saying, I think Newcastle have only scored twice in the first half of an away game this season, and Liverpool in the last 8 games haven't scored at all in the first half, so I don't think we're going to get an early goal, to be honest. Yeah, of course, you know, I think, like Gary said, you know, defensively, Steve works very hard, and he kind of mirrors sort of what the manager is, and he was a top-class centre-half, wasn't he? So defensively, you know, 3 at the back, they go 5, they make it very difficult, they pack the midfield, and they do try and make it difficult for teams to break down. So, you know, in that respect, I think Steve will be looking to come for a draw. It's down to Liverpool to be creative. It'll be interesting. Curtis Jones is back fit for us, isn't he? It'll be interesting to see what the team actually is. Maybe Salah maybe gets a start after being rested. So, yeah, I think it's all down to Jürgen. I think they'll dominate possession. But again, it's about creativity, taking your chances when they come along, something that Liverpool have been wasteful this season, not taking, being clinical when the opportunities come, certainly for Liverpool.
Okay, guys, we'll wrap things just there. That's it from us for now. We'll be back with more build-up from 11:30 on Matchday Live on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. We'll have more from Jurgen Klopp, as well as an interview with James Milner, head of Liverpool versus Newcastle United. Hope to see you then.